Hi guys, my name is Lelasophia. I am an artist and fine jewelry designer. If you like contemporary fine jewelry, if you like luxury handbags, all things New York City and art, then I have some fun videos for you. You guys, it has been almost a year. Oh my God, I can't believe it's been so long since I've done any sort of a get ready with me / makeup tutorial, and today is the day, okay? We are going to get into my kind of signature Lelasophia look. But first and foremost, if you guys are new here, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you in all of my future videos. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram at Lelasophia Jewelry. I put out videos 3 days a week, and so I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. Okay. Sat in my cozy little corner. I'm definitely a floor makeup girl, and so you guys are just like with me in my living room today. I cannot wait. Quick little intro because I don't know why. I swear, when I moved uptown almost 2 years ago, which is really crazy to say, I like pretty much stopped wearing makeup completely, cold turkey, for whatever reason. I lived downtown in Soho for 11 plus years, and not like I felt like I needed to wear makeup, but you would be surprised the frequency in which I ran into somebody that I knew. It happened on a literal, sometimes, I almost said literally, and a literal, sometimes multiple times a day basis. And so I just always felt the need to like be done up. And then I moved to normal people world, and it's very liberating, and I feel so good without makeup on. However, I feel like 2 things happened. One, I got lazy and I like completely forgot my routine, and then the last literally almost 2 years I've pretty much just been buying like not the best, not that I don't like a high-low situation, so it's not the quality, but literally I think I haven't been putting any thought into the makeup that I've been buying or kind of rebuying or having to rebuy. And I just don't think I was doing the right things. And my thing is always like doing a smoky eye and caring more so about my eye makeup, that my face makeup got really lazy and messy, and I was tired of it, and I wanted to find something new and different. And so today we're gonna play with my full new makeup kit, basically. I'm really excited. One main brand just came out with mini sizes, Westman Atelier, and I think I've done this like basically the same thing twice, and I'm obsessed, and I feel like I have it down, and I can't wait to share with you guys. So that's my stupid little intro. So, bare face, I pretty much only use two products. I use Korean skincare pretty much for my entire like face wash. And then moisturizer routine, serum routine, I use Centella. And then I just use the classic Weleda Skin Food, and that's all that's on my face right now. And I usually start with my eyes, but I think it would be kind of fun to start with my face because that's something new, again, for me. So since I was probably 18, no, maybe even since I was younger, I don't even know, but I've never, ever, ever worn foundation. I've always hated the idea of foundation. I like real skin, and my skin is in no way, shape, or form perfect. In fact, you know, it's your girl's time of the month, and so we have some little friends visiting us now, but I just still, regardless of how many blemishes or whatnot I have, I much prefer the look of actual skin. So I've only ever used like a glowy base. And this one, as of the last like many years, I've probably used this in every single video, has been my favorite, the Physicians Formula Butter Glow. I think it's in the lighter of the 2 shades, but it's this one. And I literally, I'm gonna try to not block myself. I just put, hold on, I think I did too much. I put a little dot, and then we kind of go from there. Let's see if I can do this where I'm not blocking you guys from seeing, but still am having some precision. And this, I feel like, again, really just perfectly doesn't enhance any of your blemishes, but like lets them be real and lets your skin shine through, and it is so beautiful. For a little while, I was like trying to play around with other ones, but this one is honestly maybe even the best one I've ever used. I remember like when I was, I don't even know, definitely in college, like 19 through maybe like 21, 22, I used an IPKN one, but it did occasionally have like a little bit of a white sheen, and then remember one time at the beach, I swear, I put only that on. And my friend was like, you need to like blend it into your hairline, girl. And I've been self-conscious ever since and found this. And I really like it. So that's all I do for my base. Got a little something, eyebrow hair there or something. Okay. And yeah, super stupid easy. Now for the fun part. I always feel like so unprofessional when I'm doing this, but I've been wanting, again, since I've gotten so lazy with my actual face, I usually would even just do like, even if I do a dramatic smoky eye, I would still not do any face makeup. And so I want something that feels like me, but is like a little snatched and sculpted. And so I'm excited here. We're gonna layer 2 contours. I'm gonna do the Sephora in the fair to light base. It is truly, I think, the most gray contour that I've ever seen, and I'm going to go almost like underneath, truly where a contour should go, underneath my cheekbones right there. And then with my 5 head, we're gonna contour the bejesus out of her as well and look crazy for about 2 seconds and just go ahead and blend that in. I also did just shave my face earlier today. And so I'm excited to see how that looks because, you know, your girl's North African, guys. I have hair in excess and I'm very blessed and very grateful for that. But then that also means having to, you know, figure it out in a makeup situation as well. I think, as everybody says, the secret to anything is blending. And I was really nervous of doing something this gray, but under what I'm about to show you, I think this is absolutely stunningly gorgeous. Make sure that it's going like literally under my cheekbone, and then you can do that model like kind of swivel it down a little tiny bit. And then crowd favorite, we're going to do the new little mini Westman Atelier in the shade Biscuit, which I think is definitely a crowd favorite. I also was looking at the Anastasia Beverly Hills. I didn't see it until I had already purchased a couple. And so maybe I would have purchased it instead of the Sephora one, but we're going for it and I can try that one next. So this one, I'm gonna put kind of like overlapping. Do we see how much warmer this is, even though I know this is a very cool toned contour? And so it really shows how like intensively gray the Sephora one is. And now we're like gonna make me an actual human and not a corpse. If you hear somebody panting in the background, that's my baby. I'm so sorry. I can't have the air conditioning on while I film, but she'll be fine, you guys, I promise. Anyways, okay, this is little Westman Atelier, and I've never in my life used makeup brushes. For some reason, I just think it is, I don't know, I have more control when I use my fingers. I've heard people say that it helps to warm up the product and actually like melt it into your skin better. And also I feel like it's more sanitary because I'm obsessive about washing my hands. And so I know that these little hands just got washed like 3 times with an antibacterial soap, and I don't know, I feel like I have more control over it. What do you guys think? Do you like to use makeup brushes or use your fingers? I'd actually genuinely love to know. But I do have a topic for today while I'm still telling you what I'm doing in my process. I feel like it's such an appropriate thing to be asking what you guys think of today's beauty standards. Like, what an actual crazy broad topic. But I did an entire video on TikTok because I feel like I've never watched Love Island before. Yes, this is gonna be a Love Island discussion, but I've never watched it before. I've watched like 1 season during COVID or something like that. And I was so shocked by the season's, the USA reaction, that people were so intensively talking about women's faces and dissecting them and talking about race in relation to facial features and beauty standards. And I felt like there was so much kind of buried that came to the surface. Before we get into that though, this is also one that I haven't used, but I swatched it and I was like, oh my God, we're gonna be needing to try this. Another Westman Atelier. This is in the shade Coquette. Oh my God. I know you guys probably could help me honestly, because this is where I kind of fail. For a while I was trying different blush colors. I have such, I mean, not like such, but I think I have a unique undertone. I have a unique skin tone. I'm mixed race, you guys know I'm Moroccan, and so there's like that undertone of olivey green, but I feel like that's why I've never in my life used foundation, because I just never have found something that works for me. And blush color, oh my God, this is so pretty. Blush color is something I've never really understood, and so I've just gone for what I think is pretty, which is a really pink, a really blush pink. And this, I don't know if it's the best thing for my skin tone, but I personally feel like I feel the best in a really light pink, and maybe it could be more pigmented. Maybe I could do something that's like more intensive, but I don't know. I'm just like, maybe it's my millennialism. Maybe I shouldn't blame it on my ethnicity, but my first blush ever, and then the blush that I probably used for like a solid 15 years was NARS Orgasm. And so I kind of just went with that color palette, and this, I don't know, but it looks really pretty on. I watched an entire, like, went down a rabbit hole on TikTok and saw that, you know, like a neutral olive, a mid-tone olive skin could do really well with like, see, I don't even remember now, a corally orangey, was that correct, blush? But something about this like ballerina pink I just really love. So you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. Back to the Love Island discussion though, because the reunion is coming out in like literally 2 days from when you guys are seeing this video. Again, I think while I was watching it, first of all, my first comment was like, oh my God, this is an actual representation of America. There seems to be like, I feel like there was a good mix of different American cultures and little subsects of groups. And so I thought that it was an interesting pairing, and also like showed how like jumbled and odd American culture and dating can be. And something on TikTok that really shocked me, I think I like started watching it because of Huda and everybody was talking about her on TikTok, and I don't know a person besides Kim Kardashian who has been so dividing on the internet in the past like decade. And it was crazy for me to see somebody be so dissected and so hated, and it felt like there was pinning against one another, and there were like all these accounts like going over the actual features on her face and talking about the fact that she got a nose job and that she's trying to erase her ethnicity, and there were all these things that I was like, oh my goodness, it feels like in 2025 I didn't understand that people are so critical still of especially women's faces, and I don't mean to make it a gendered thing, but I just would basically love to hear what you guys think. First of all, this is a real new thing for me. I've never, what is this called? This is the Glow Play blush by MAC. This is in the shade True Harmony. Love that name. I should probably use a brush for this, but then the actual packaging said I could use my finger, so we're gonna do that. And basically we're gonna meld the contour and the blush together. While we do that, I hope I don't know, is this how people do makeup tutorials, like talking about the actual makeup stuff and then about a topic? So sorry if I'm jumping around basically. I don't know if all of these discussions on TikTok were triggering to me or something, that I feel like I've never really had like a sense of belonging in a beauty standard, and at the same time I also think I felt like proud of myself and also proud of my mom and my aunt and the women who raised me, because I was watching one of my friends actually who I went to college with, Devin, who has an amazing TikTok channel. I feel like I've talked about her a couple times before, and her TikTok and her Instagram, I just think talks about like such real things, and she got really well known for like her morning shed routine that also is very controversial, and that's crazy to me why something that somebody chooses would be controversial or like up for debate. And literally yesterday she did a video and I was like, thank you, girl. This is like, couldn't have been more perfect timing. She did a video talking about her own beauty standards and how she will get compared to Monica Bellucci and she doesn't see it. And yet, for some reason, even though she's saying she doesn't see it, people like write all these horrible, mean comments that I have not looked at specifically to like not, I don't even know, I just to not see somebody talking about somebody who I think is beautiful and doing amazing things negatively. I haven't wanted to see that. She was talking about that experience and I thought it was so fascinating, and she opened up the conversation with, I know I'm pretty. Like, is that controversial to say? And then went on to talk about the fact that she always felt as a woman growing up that there was an attachment to her worth with her beauty. And I honestly felt differently. I was like, you know, I swear to you, I really don't actually think that I've experienced that. My insecurities were always so much more with my body, which is, if you look back a year ago, which is what my last makeup tutorial was talking about. And my actual facial features and my actual face felt like such a non-factor because that's me. And I know that sounds really silly or stupid or privileged, but I really have been trying to dissect that and be like, have I felt like I'm pretty? Because I don't really think that that's the case. I think that there's something about myself that feels unique. And that's why I feel like I enjoy getting ready and why I enjoy myself and I have a good time in my own skin, and it's a non-comparison issue. We're gonna do a little highlighter. This is the, again, same Westman Atelier highlighter in the shade Nectar, which I also think is really pretty. Let me make sure. I probably have a little bit of the last time I did my little blush on there. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous shade. I don't know, because also, if you guys know or don't know me, I am, again, mixed race. My mom is white from Connecticut and my dad is Moroccan. I, you know, from a good old ancestry test says that I'm pretty much, I guess, like 40 something or 30 something percent indigenous North African, and then whatever, 12 to 15% West African. And so we're African, not Arab, we're not European. I know a lot of Moroccans are mixed with people from the Arabian Peninsula and also people from Europe, but having in and of itself kind of been from an area that is also very much so dissected for our beauty standards and our ethnic groups and our little, you know, like people dissect, oh, well, you're lighter skinned and so you must be Arab and so you must not actually be North African and so you must be this and you can't claim that you're Moroccan actually, or oh, you're actually from this ethnic group and whatever. And there's all this like, feels very much so pinning against one another that I actually wasn't raised with, because I wasn't raised with any of my Moroccan family. I was only raised with my mom and then her family and my stepfamily. And so I'm the only child of my mom's first marriage, my mom and my dad. And something about maybe me being the only person who looks vastly different in America, maybe almost in a weird way helped me. Again, my gripe in life was always my weight and my body, and having my body be so different, vastly different than my mom's and my aunts and my grandmothers and everybody, every woman that I've met in my mom's side of the family. And then being raised with a white stepfamily, there was just something that felt so shameful about being not only a plus size person, but a person with, you know, very, I always say exaggerated curves. And I never really thought a whole lot about my beauty, to be honest with you. And that's not me being like, I never saw beauty, everybody is beautiful, but I saw so many different types of beauty. And I always say this, and I will always give credit, my mother and my aunt, I think were some of the coolest women to be raised next to and around, because there was something so, I said this at my aunt's memorial, there's something so inherently similar about sisters that my mom and my aunt really felt like such a beautiful duo, but they're so opposite in so many ways that it was such a cool experience to try to understand like different types of again, like projected beauty and how different women see themselves. My mom never wears makeup, has never worn makeup, and leaves her hair naturally curly, and, you know, is like a naturopath and is very much so an everyday doing yoga, chilled out, whatever, again, naturopathic person. And my aunt, every single day until the day that she passed away, bleached her hair, did her makeup. I never ever saw her without makeup on. She always had a little YSL tube of bright pink, maybe that's why I like it, of bright pink lipstick that she was constantly putting on. She always did like a little smoky eyeliner, which I was obsessed with. We're just gonna do a little bit, again, for my little friends, for my time of the month, a little bit of concealing with the NARS in the shade Custard, I think. Yep, in the shade Custard Classic. Again, very millennial of me, but it works. Because my aunt was the one that wore makeup, she was the one that taught me about makeup, and I think from a really young age she was very perceptive to me and really like empathetic and just genuinely understood me from like babyhood, not even from childhood, just from being like truly a little one. I think she genuinely understood that, you know, even though, like, it's funny, I think people even have different definitions of like being girly or being feminine. Femininity is a whole other conversation. And so my mom will see me as not very feminine because I wear only muted tones and I wear all black and I slick my hair back and I do one shade of, you know, one shade of makeup, one shade of nails every day. But my aunt saw my femininity and saw me as a woman and saw that I loved makeup and saw that I loved getting dressed and saw that I loved to accessorize. And I think in so many ways, she just really like seamlessly, effortlessly knew that she was the only person who could help me navigate, you know, like the more, I don't even know, because I don't want to say feminine side of things, but the frillier side of things, how to put on makeup, what to wear, what do I want to do with my hair? Should I dye my hair? Should I leave it curly? Should I straighten it? She really helped me navigate that, and having the balance allows me now to be like, oh, I love that my mom doesn't wear any makeup. Like, I love that I've become that person 99% of the time now too. But I also love that I can have a signature makeup look exactly like my aunt and understand both sides of being feminine. The many sides of being feminine. We're not gonna reduce it just to 2 today, but I just really, really love that. And that's basically my face makeup, guys. And we're going to set this quickly with, again, possibly old school, but we're gonna do a little NYX matte. Okay, let's do real up close and personal for the eyes. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna reapply. This is my favorite new lip balm. I kind of folded it down. I probably shouldn't have done that, but this is the Panier de Sans Peony lip balm. It's so cute. Hold on, I think I'm moving the camera, but it is so nourishing, and I'm trying so hard. It's kind of crazy how hard we have to try to make sure that everything that I use, I'm like trying to switch to all natural things. And this, I think, I don't know what it says, but I think is much better than like using Aquaphor. I think I was like, I can admit that I was addicted to using Aquaphor. I only just heard that there are like forever chemicals in Aquaphor, and I was like, oh my God, pick your poison. But yeah, I'm trying really hard. So let's midway moisturize. This is kind of, I shouldn't even show this. I need to get a new one, but let's do a little NYX eyebrow glue. I've never done any sort of color on my, I lost my mirror, on my eyebrows, and so I just brush them. I don't know what this is called even. I just brush them where they go. So I brush them in their direction that they live, and that is it. I know you guys are probably wondering why I brought up Love Island and how that even relates at all, but even things like that, when I say like, you know, it's not hopefully coming, I hope you guys can tell me, it's not for me to say, oh, I've never like gotten sucked into a makeup trend like foundation or using eyebrow gel, or I mean, whatever it's called. Yes, I use eyebrow gel, or using eyebrow pencil, or plucking my eyebrows, or doing the big bushy eyebrow thing. I think it is for me to say that there's something about accepting yourself that I think goes into our experience of judgment or non-judgment to other people. And so when I see people in a positive way talking about somebody like Huda's makeup routine, or in a positive way talking about Alandria's lip routine, or talking about these gorgeous, everybody's gorgeous, like come on people, everybody is gorgeous, talking about, you know, the minutia in which they choose to present themselves. Again, if it's makeup, or if it is a procedure that they had done, or a non-invasive, invasive, whatever, something that they've done. I think that there's something like that we all could look at in ourselves and ask why we care about somebody else's face, again, especially another woman's face. But I also feel like if I'm wrong, like I want to know where that comes from. It's not of me wanting to judge people. I'm gonna do a little eyeshadow primer. This is Milani. It's not of me wanting to judge people. It's me wanting to genuinely understand. Also, like, am I missing something? Is there something positive about, you know, trying to, like, is it a good thing to dissect other people's faces so that you can know what does or doesn't work for your own? I genuinely would be really curious to know, because my brother always makes fun of me, which is adorable, and like in a positive way, because for any gendered human being, it's really difficult for me to say that one person is more attractive than the next. I guess I'm like, I don't even know, there's like some word for it. And I feel like on Pop the Balloon, everybody was like, oh, it became a trend to be like, oh, well, I'm like an energy person. But like, I really think I always have been. And there's something like inherently wrong about saying that somebody is or is not attractive to me, especially, again, like, I just don't understand scrutinizing a person's face. And I know that that sounds so crazy, but there's something to me that feels like, have we heard this like ancient legend that I believe is an ancient Japanese legend that's like, your face is the face of literally thousands of God willing, consensual, okay, pairings of two human beings who, again, God willing, have been in love with each other. Like, is that not the most beautiful thing of all time? Like, how could you, I'm confused, you know? And that's not to say that things like I'm doing right now, makeup, aren't positive and fun and don't feel so empowering to use, because I really do think that they do feel amazing and can like transform you. I love people like Laura Violetta, who uses makeup in such a fire, like really unique way. That is something so incredible to me. That's not to say that makeup is bad in any way, shape, or form, or procedures are bad or whatnot, but I just genuinely feel like I'm missing something. And that's not me being on a high horse. That's me really being like, actually, I would love to know. So that being said, let's do my really old The Nudes by Maybelline. See, this is a high-low, guys. I was always a Pat McGrath girly, and I found myself, has anybody else done this? I found myself, first, sorry, we're gonna start with this really pretty, like very neutral shade in the corner that clearly I love. Exhibit A. I found myself getting like so many Mothership palettes because I would go through like 3 or 4 shades and that would be it. And then I'd be like, oh, maybe I should try another palette that is gonna have more shades that I'll like, and maybe I should, I don't know, diversify or whatnot. And I really wish that there were more. Actually, I feel like there are 2, so you guys need to help me if you've ever tried this before, but I wish that there were more makeup companies who would do make your own palette, because I'm so specific that I search high and low to try to find a palette that really has like just the perfect shades that I want to do my little signature smoky eye with, that it's so difficult. And so, whereas I love, like, honestly, Mothership 1 is probably what I wore in my channel for like at least a year and a half, if not more. And like, I go through the three shadows that I love, and I'm like, oh, this feels wasteful. I don't even understand if I buy another $120 Pat McGrath, you know, palette, then what is the point of only using a couple of the shades? Anyways, guys, this is probably why I don't do makeup tutorials because, or whatever, makeup videos, get ready with me's, whatever we call this, because I just ramble and talk about the most random things. I'm sorry for moving the camera, I had to change my battery, but we are getting close to the end. All I'm basically doing, because I obviously have hooded eyes, so this is my eyes like pretty relaxed. Let me relax them for real. That's my eyes relaxed, and then this is them when I engage my face muscles. And so what I end up doing to make it like a little bit more subtle is we always do like a little bit of a wing situation right there. And I go like, it's like I do technically go above my crease a little. I know every makeup artist and whatnot says, if you have hooded eyes, just relax them and go above your crease, but I don't want it to be too dramatic. Also, I think I do just have quite a bit of space between my eyelash line and my eyebrow hairs, eyebrow line. I know everybody, my sister-in-law just was like, well, you have such big eyes. And so even if you aren't wearing makeup, and I'm like, I don't think I have big eyes. I think I have very large eye sockets, and that's a really weird, have I said that in every single video? It's a really weird comment, but I really genuinely think it's very true. So there's just a lot of space going on. And my girl Paloma is one of the only people who has a similar like eye situation going on, and barely wears eye makeup, so I don't have many examples. So I just make it up as we go along. This is something I've been very much so getting into. I'm just gonna use, all I did was this one, and now I'm just gonna do a little combo gray to black and literally kind of like dip into both and just build it up from there. Oh my God, I keep moving the camera, sorry. This is again, why you only get these once a year, but I hope it's worth it. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I think that topic I've already talked about so much with my friends and family because there's something just so shocking about it. And ironically, like even Dylan, my little brother, is like, you know, really thought one of the women was so gorgeous and maybe didn't think the others were. And it's just a fascinating thing because of the emphasis on, it doesn't feel like oh, everybody's so beautiful, but I loved her personality. It feels like, not from my brother, but from the internet in general, it felt so much like well, this person is so much more beautiful, or this person is so much more deserving. It felt as though somebody's beauty was tied to their worth, which is duh, full circle where we're going with this conversation. It felt like their, not ability to be loved, but their need to be loved, like as if, you know, if somebody's attraction level was, or if one was, not you, but if one was more or less attracted to somebody, that should have something to do with a man being interested. I was like, whoa, these conversations are going in this direction. I am in the wrong chat, because that is a crazy sentiment. And just, I feel like I thought we were so much further. I thought we were chugging along towards a more accepting reality. And I didn't understand before this season of Love Island, that sounds so stupid, but reading so many comments and having so much access to so many people who were like seriously involved in watching that show, and it's live and there's so many episodes, or not live, but like day of, watching that show so many times a week, that I think I was like a little taken aback and shocked at how invested people got in the contestants' actual looks, which, hence why we're here talking about it right now. Okay, we're gonna do my favorite thing. If I could do nothing else for the rest of my life and only had to do one makeup, one step, literally, I wouldn't even choose my upper eyes. I would choose doing shadow on the lower lid, because, and this is where I think it's such a cool thing to get into a conversation of embracing our differences and embracing where we come from. I come from such a different world. I was raised literally between Connecticut, Westchester, and Manhattan, and then my dad's family is from Marrakesh, and so those are pretty different. And in Connecticut, I've done all of these, I've done videos before on the past on how, you know, somebody like Carolyn Bessette Kennedy before she passed away was supposed to be my neighbor, and the fact that there was so much emphasis growing up, and even still when I go home to this day, on being acceptable, on blending in, like in that culture, in the very predominantly white, very, you know, I would say very wealthy culture that is Connecticut and Westchester, where I'm from. I feel like when I was growing up, there was such an emphasis on, oh, don't be too different. You don't want to do something too out of the box. And anybody who did something different was one of the goths in school. And so I possibly rode the line that like people didn't know what box to put me in. And even when I go back home, I know, or like we just were in Rhode Island for a few days, when I go out, it's such a different thing to put on a big smoky eye like this, or to put on a bunch of makeup. And then I think when I was probably like, I have no idea how old I must have been, but in my late teens, maybe like 18, 19, I always did the same. I think I may have told this story before, but my older stepbrother's first girlfriend, her mother like was the VP of Bobbi Brown or something like that. And so the only makeup I ever received as a child, like 13 to whatever, was from her. And I'm very grateful for that, because she gave me the first thing she ever gave me was this one little mini smoky eye palette that I used for literally 10 years. Oh God, I keep moving the camera. I used it for literally 10 years. And I'm so grateful because it felt like I had found what I needed. It felt like the perfect thing. And literally I basically do a variation of what I learned to do as a child. And so I adjusted this shade under on my lower lash line, and now I'm just gonna go over that exactly the same line, I believe, with black. And for some reason, not saying that like I'm special in any way, but for some reason I was always just drawn to a smoky eye. My aunt used to give me, please, if anybody is of this era and knows this, I would love if you could confirm that this is the right way to say it or the right company, but is Paula Dorff a makeup brand like from the early 2000s or 90s? Because I swear she gave me like all these really pretty like paisley I got a baby pink, a baby purple, and a blue one when I was little. And I loved playing with them, but they didn't feel like me, and they were much more her color palette. And obviously, again, my mom and my aunt are just like such, you know, look so different than I do, that it didn't work for me. And when I got my first Bobbi Brown palette that was like truly just a smoky eye, I was like, oh my God, I'm home. This is exactly what I feel like I've always wanted and needed. And I swear that is my origin story of doing a smoky eye, and I've never gone back. And then in my 20s, when I went to Morocco for the first time and met my dad and my family for the first time, I met my dad twice in my childhood, but really I got to re-meet him and meet my siblings for the first time, and my aunts and uncles and my grandparents before they passed away. I was like, I didn't really understand that it's also, there are cultural elements to using cajole, or however, please help me how to pronounce that, and doing a gorgeous dark black eyeliner and smoky eye. And I was like, is this like coming from something inside of me? Because those two worlds converged, the Bobbi Brown world and then me going home and really like understanding my culture truly met in my early 20s. And I was like, I also want to do this, not because I think a smoky eye looks good on me, because it feels indicative of where I come from and it feels so true to me, and I love it so much. My last signature step, I might have lied. I still will go back and forth, I'm not sure. But nah, it will probably be this one. I don't know actually. If I could do two steps, it would be an inner corner highlight. This one is just from Ulta, which I actually really love. I usually have always used a more gold one, and this is like a champagne gold one, and I'm actually really into it. I always do it quite like dramatically on my inner corner, and then not just the inner corner. On camera it doesn't look as dramatic, but it's pretty like intense in person. I also do like my actual inner lid, which is almost like a sparkly cut crease, which I really like. And I feel like because my eyes are quite sunken, I enjoy having this step make them pop. I feel like that makes a really big difference, and then I always kind of go back and forth and try to even them out a little bit, but it's fine. I've gotten used to the idea that it doesn't have to be just your eyebrows that can be sisters, not twins, but also your eyeshadow. So I always, you know, I try my hardest to make it even, but you know, we just do our best. My last step, my trusty. I've been using this since I was a child, and I've never, ever, ever used any other type of mascara in my life. I've only ever used Maybelline mascara, literally. I do 2 coats of this. I should probably get another one, to be honest with you, so don't judge the state of this. I use 2 coats on my upper lashes and 1 coat on my lower lashes, and I am a child of the Kim Kardashian era. Sue me, okay? And I love a spidery, crazy lash. Literally, I remember my 2 friends, Cassidy Harris and Maddie Lucas, shout out if for some random reason you're watching, who taught me how to use makeup in junior year, maybe sophomore year. And they both did the craziest, most gorgeous spidery lashes. And I said, hello, I will be needing that. And so that's 1 coat. And I just go on the bottom and I do a little wiggle. I go, this is where we make a crazy face. Do a little wiggle. Kind of more so on the outer, and I take off as much of the product as I can. Darn it, hold on, I'll get that little dot that I just made, and I primarily do it, yeah, like right on the outer corner. All right, I think I got my little mistake, we'll see. And then while the top one is drying, this is my favorite. I'm actually very interested in trying, if anybody plays with this, please tell me what you think, and trying the Victoria Beckham. Either the, I don't know, there's 2. There's like an actual eyeliner or like an eyeshadow pencil maybe, something like that. Trying that, especially on a day that I don't want to do like a full upper lid shadow. But the Milani Truly Waterproof is my favorite, and I like literally, I think I always struggle to do this step on camera, like stamp it into my lower lash line. And so like literally where my lashes grow is where I put it. And then Emrata, thank you, Emily Radikowski. I always used to stop here, and she changed my life. I go all the way to my corner, and that is the most life-changing thing of all time. I'm so grateful. And I feel like, I could be going crazy, but I feel like it makes a massive difference. If you guys can see eye to eye, that's just how I feel. Let me do this eye, and then I will finish my mascara, and then we're done. Right? Do we see what I mean? I feel like it's this makes it sexy. As if the black smoky eye didn't make it sexy enough, this makes it gorgeous. Matisse is getting unsettled, so if you hear her, she's ready for this to be done, as I'm sure we all are. And then I do my second little coat, and then I am finished. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I know this was a random topic, but also like kind of appropriate. There's also, I think it's been like on my mind since I've been wearing no makeup so much. That could be the next topic for the next for the next video, because I'm loving that look, and I feel like so many more people, again, trust me, my mom would say it's her influence, but in addition to my mother, if my mother was in the public eye, it would have been her doing this. But because Pamela Anderson came out when was that? When her documentary came out 2 years ago, I feel like that was a major moment of like, wait, women are actually gorgeous any way, shape, or form, including without makeup. And I think it was a really nice signaling that we are getting away from the 2010s. They caught somebody without makeup out in public going to Starbucks, that era. It's really nice to be like, yes, guys, we can go to Fashion Week with no makeup. And I don't know, I think it's made me really grateful for how I feel about myself. And hopefully that's not like, I don't know, conceited in any way, just understanding that we all are so unique and so different, and our faces are beautiful blessings, and we're made of stardust, guys. But like, come on, let's get it together. My last little step is going to be my favorite Edward Bess. I've actually been really loving this because it's a little bit more neutral than my Gucci Beauty and my MAC folio. This I always love. I think I just got my teeth a little bit. This I always love doing true like skin tone lipstick for some reason. And I did just look at a picture of my aunt. I will insert here. And I was like, oh my God, I'm nothing original. I just have copied her my entire life. She always did like a pink nude lip. And so I realized I'm not original. I have stolen everything from her. And so that's why I love this. I also just like think that this is about to see, oh my God, I was about to say something crazy because I was gonna say, I know that I love eye makeup on myself. And so focusing on that and kind of taking everything else down and making that neutral, I keep looking at myself, sorry, is just what I know I like on myself. And then to make it fun, I will use Blitz Gold, of course, by the Queen, Pat McGrath over top. And this has been my filming lip combo and really like my going out lip combo for a while. I also have, I'm trying to think of the name, an Anastasia Beverly Hills Honey Kiss lip balm that I really love, but especially for the summer months, I'm a little bit, you know, my skin tone is a little bit deeper, tiny bit. I could have used a couple more beach days, maybe we'll get them in, but yeah, this is my signature makeup. I feel like I could still clean up the sides a little bit, and it's a lot of contour and blush. It's a lot on my cheeks, but you know what? That's also how I feel, how I feel best. And so I cannot wait to hear what you guys think of that discussion. Can't wait to hear your thoughts, truly. Tell me if I'm crazy or not, or if you agree. And I'm kind of dying to see the Love Island finale. We'll talk about that next time. Okay, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Bye, guys.